For part 2 of the notes, we are going to just continue with what we were doing yesterday and just do a couple more examples. So we want to find the percent of change. And then you want to state if it's going up, increasing, or decreasing. So the instructions are find how much the percent changed from 100%. State whether it was an increase or decrease. Frank's typing speed went from 30 words per minute to 46 words per minute. So remember, when we set this up, we want to know the new amount is what percent of the old amount. So we're going to put the new amount of 46 down, and we want to say 46 is what percent of, and remember of means to multiply, the old amount, which was 30. So now we're going to go ahead and solve this for p. So we'll divide both sides by 30. I'll bring up the calculator here. And 46 divided by 30 gives us 1.5333 repeating. So 1.53333. And we want to change this now from a decimal to a percent. So we'll move the decimal over 2 places, and that's going to be 153.33%. Remember, once you find the percent, you need to take that and subtract 100% from it. So we'll minus the 100% here, and that leaves us with 53.33%. So that's the change. Since it was positive, we know that it is an increase. So Frank increased his typing speed by 53.33%. Now let's try a problem that is a little more challenging. Rufus had a great basketball season. He scored 333 points, which was an 85% increase over last season. How many did he score last season? So we are trying to find out what the old amount was. They've told us what the new amount was, and they've also given us the percent. So once again, we're going to write out the equation the same way we do every time. So we're going to say 333 is, oh, and before we put the percent down, we need to think about this. If it was an 85% increase, then we're going to start with 100%. Since it was an increase, we're going to add 85% of that. So the new amount is 185% of the old amount. When we change that to a decimal, it will be 1.85. So going back to our equation, the new amount equals 1.85, or 185% of the old amount. Oops, sorry. The old amount, we'll just call that x. Okay, so now we are going to solve for x to find the old amount. And when we do that, we're going to get x equals 333 divided by 1.85. And before I put the answer up, do you think the old amount is going to be more or less than the new amount? If you said less, you were correct, because we know he increased how many shots he did. So the old amount would have been less than the new amount. So last season he scored 180 points. Last season. And since he increased, now what he scored this season, of course, would have been higher. Okay, last of all, let's look at this thought question. Is it possible for an amount to decrease more than 100%? So think about that. And I'm going to tell you that it is not possible. Why or why not? Well, if something decreases by 100%, then there's nothing left. So if it decreases by 100%, there is nothing left. So it can't decrease anymore if there's nothing left. And I'm going to just show you a couple of examples to illustrate that. So Shelley used to score 26 points, but her scoring decreased by 100%. Well, 100% of 26 would just be 26, right? So if she started with scoring 26 and then she decreased by 26, now she's scoring no points. And you can't really go any lower than that. Here's an example of why you couldn't decrease by 150%. Because if Bob started out scoring 19 points, so let's find 150% of 19. So remember, to find that, we're going to change that to a decimal, and of tells us to times. So we'll do 1.5 times 19, and we get 28.5. So if he starts out scoring 19 points, and then he decreases by 150%, well, 150% of 19 is 28.5. And if we take 28.5 away from 19, here we go, 19 minus 28.5, that's going to be negative 9.5. And you really can't score negative points. So you can see you really can't go below 0 points. And so you really can't decrease by more than 100%. Okay, good luck with your assignment.